So this has been on my mind quite a bit right now. I want to hear from the community on how they feel about this being an idea. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a no-brainer. The majority of you guys would want to see this, but I do want to hear feedback because you never know. There could be a group of people that don't want to see this come to the light, but what has been on my mind is a new take on the TMNT. Well, not really a new take in terms of its tone, but seeing it translated to live action. How would we feel about a gritty rated R TMNT live action depiction? Now, before we dive into this crazy idea, just know that it's all built on speculation. I don't believe that there are any reports of this actually being a thing. I'm bringing forward this video simply for the topic of discussion, simply to get the crowd talking about it being a possibility. Who knows, maybe the higher ups will see it one day and be like, hey, this is a thing people want. But as it stands right now, this video is simply standing for the conversation alone. Now, before we dive into this topic, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the notification bell right next to it. Leave a like if you end up enjoying the video and share it around with anyone you think may be interested. And I hope to see you down in those comments talking about this topic. So TMNT is a brand with fans of all ages. They come from different generations. They were brought into the Turtles world as a whole by so many different incarnations. Some people grew up with the 2003 show, some with the 87 show, some with the Mirage Comics of 84. While the 2003 show is a rather faithful adaptation of the Mirage Comics, told in a way to where kids can be reeled into the story, it's still just that, an adaptation. It's not a one-to-one translation. So with that being said, the Mirage Comics, the 87 show, and the 2003 show alone have so many differences in terms of tone and how they play around with their themes. So if each one of these were someone's first introduction, everybody loves Turtles for a different reason. So if you came in from the 87 show and then all of a sudden you see this 2003 cartoon, you're like, well, this isn't Ninja Turtles, what's happening here? Or if you came in from the Mirage Comics and you saw the 87 show, you're like, yeah, what happened to my boys? So with that at play, and especially now since we have more incarnations on the table to consider, like the 2012 show and Rise, I want to see where the general thought is for Turtles fans across the years as a collective unit, how we would feel about a live action reboot happening that takes a more dark, gritty, serious approach seen in those original comics, but brought to life on the bigger, small screen. I personally think it would be cool to have a streaming service pick this up and run with it as a series, something along the lines of Netflix's Daredevil, but for Ninja Turtles, especially since Ninja Turtles definitely has historical links to Daredevil anyway. I think that would be the prime way to go about doing that. Paramount Plus, guys, like that, they could totally do it. They could totally do it if they wanted to put money into it. Cut the budget down, don't go too heavy with the CGI. Maybe they want to go full on puppets like the Jim Henson Creature Shop films, the 90s series of films. Maybe they could take that route. I just think that the format of sort of a mini series would be the perfect way to go about it, the perfect way to cater to Turtles fans that want to see those original roots of the Turtles come back to life. Because I think in pop culture, it's kind of cemented now that across the board, TMNT caters to kids more than anything else. I know, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. At this point, I think that the target demographic for a majority of Turtles properties now are kids, but that's not to say that they don't think about their older fans. There's definitely a market for that. Think of Marvel. They have their Disney XD shows and their little animated series nowadays that don't really reel in the adult audience like they used to, but they know they want the kids to sit down and have a good time with these shows while catering to the older fans with the comics and the video games and the movies. Marvel has different incarnations of their characters at the same time to cater to the different areas of their fan base, which is something that TMNT has gotten right in some years and gotten not so right in other years. I really think we're about to see that become more of a visual thing. We will be noticing that without having to dig and search for the content that we want to see as older Turtles fans. I think it'll just be front and center. Like we already had Batman versus the TMNT while Rise was running on Nickelodeon. Rise catering to the younger audience while Batman versus TMNT obviously going for that hardcore old school Turtles fan that's kind of been in the lore for a while Rise was trying to reel people in that probably didn't know about TMNT. And that's not to say that Rise wasn't trying to also accomplish by bringing a fresh take on the TMNT for older fans to relive it all over again, but their main focus was on a new audience. So I guess that all just comes down to asking you guys about your thoughts and opinions on a dark take on the TMNT, because there are a lot of people that just hate on everything that's been coming out out recently because it's not those Mirage Comics in tone, or heck, because it's not even the tone of the 2003 show. Those are the two fan bases that I think have the hardest time accepting newer incarnations as if those old versions don't exist. And at the same time, I do get that it can be frustrating to hear, oh, just go back and watch those versions, they're there, because there are some Turtles fans that have a set tone that they like, cater to, while the more serious fans have only really gotten what, the IDW comics, and now we have The Last Ronin. So really with that at play, you shouldn't be complaining because those are both great. But you know, I get it. You want it in more media, whether it's animated or live action. Just going off of my own thoughts alone, because I haven't collected data, I haven't seen your comments, I haven't seen how you feel or what you feel towards the topic just yet. But just going off of what I'm thinking, I think so long as there are other versions of the TMNT out there running at the same time, not saying to finish one version, then pick up the next. I mean, multiple projects airing at the same time, that'll just scratch the itch of everybody and shut them all up. And again, I'm not signaling that they should just make a project for the sake of shutting up fans. There has to be passion there. There has to be a want and a need and a purpose behind the story that you are telling. But from the viewpoint of Turtles fans wanting to accept the things that they pump out, will a live action dark interpretation of these Turtles actually succeed in today's era, now that we've had so many people grow up with the brand? What's the majority of the fan base at this point? Is it the majority of people miss the dark stuff? Is it majority of the people like the new tone that Turtles have adapted throughout the decades? And I just think that whatever the majority is might dictate what we see in the future. So if this were to happen, I think it would be like a one-off mini series just to cater to a very niche corner of the fan base. I mean, DC, they do it all the time. Like Batman Ninja, I don't think that that's going to appeal to majority of the Batman fan base, but the very niche corner that will give anything Batman a try, no matter how absurd it looks from the outside, they know that there is something deeper there that wants to be told and taken seriously, so they'll go out of their way to check it out and have a good time with it. So while this video is also a conversation piece to open up the floor for all of you to talk in the comment section about this being a potential idea sometime down the road, doesn't matter how long it takes, but so long as we are circulating the conversation about it, people will see that, people will notice that, and if you guys want it and you're loud enough, it will happen. I guess this video also serves as encouragement. You know, it's supposed to be giving you guys thoughts on bursting out of your bubble in terms of where you feel safe in the brand that is TMNT. If you've been so locked in a set mindset of how these characters are supposed to be, I encourage you to branch out to other versions that you've been scared of or hesitant to even try. That's not to say that you can't like what you like. If you're justified in just staying in your own little corner of the fan base, you feel safe there, you don't want to move, I'm not going to force you and say you have to break out of there and go check out all the other versions before you could just sit comfy in your little corner. I can't dictate your life like that. That's your choice. All I can do is encourage you to go out there and see what all TMNT has to offer, because trust me, there's so much good outside of just the 2003 show. There's so much good outside of just the 2012 show. There's so much good outside of just the 87 show. With me, I was so hesitant to go into the Nickelodeon 2012 show because I grew up with the 2003 show. Like, I was even so young at a point to where I didn't understand half the stuff that was going on at the 2003 show. But when I got older, kept watching the show and started to understand, I fell in love with the world and the characters so much that just the commercials alone for the 2012 Nickelodeon show rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't even like the first episode when it first aired, but really I took time off, I came back, gave the show a second chance, and by the end of that first season, that was my favorite TMNT animated series. So you never know, there could always be something else out there. And like I said, while this video's purpose is for speculative reasons only, we don't have any leads or leaks or announcements about a live action, dark, gritty reboot for TMNT coming to Paramount Plus or anything, or at least I don't think. This is literally just stemming from a dream I had last night. But yeah, while this video is talking about that, it's also a video of encouragement for you guys out there that are hesitant about the idea to go back and see some of the Turtles roots. Go back and see some of those darker stories if you're able to, because I get you guys want to have fun with your turtles sometimes, but sometimes when they get dark and serious, it works really well. And you guys that have only known the dark and serious Turtles, have some fun sometime. Just check it out. We're a big community, and I think we can appreciate each other's differences in terms of all the different Turtles that we like and why we like them. So get down in that comment section below. Tell me if you want to see a dark TMNT live action reboot. Also, comment your favorite version of TMNT down below. Down below in the comments right now, can you comment your favorite version of TMNT? I want you to comment your favorite version and then comment on someone else's comment that tells their favorite version, so you guys can talk and in a civilized manner compare why you like that version. Hopefully it'll get the conversation stirring up recap so you can try something TMNT related that you haven't seen before. I think it would be cool for us to be able to appreciate the differences in Turtles media that we like. Like, I really want to see a diehard 87 Turtles fan talk to a diehard 2003 Turtles fan and accept the differences that come from each version. So get down in the comment section below and have fun. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, share the video with anyone you think may be interested, and have a blast in that comment section down below. As always, I've been Geekly, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cowabunga, dudes!